Zuck the cuck drinks water like a duck, but he also drinks your data. So tell him and Google to shove your data up their schwing-schwangs by downloading the Brave browser. It's free, blocks online advertising, and protects your privacy and data from evil tech companies. You only see ads if you want to see them, and you get cryptocurrency for your attention. Don't let Zuck use you to make a buck. Download Brave by clicking on the link down below.
Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Morning, children. Sick Cappy here. We have a very interesting question, very good philosophical question. Matthew writes, "Hi, Cappy. I was at a party this weekend with some friends. The discussion of how beauty affects women came up. I took the stance that beauty is like power, corrupts whoever has it. And you never date a 9 or a 10. That's some good advice. You probably listened to Donovan Sharp. This ended up being very controversial, as half of the people at the party disagreed with me and also accused me of being sexist. Of course, and then I'm like, is he in college? It turns out, yeah, he's in college. Because of course they did. Because they disagree with you, you must be an ist or an ism. So I would almost, on that alone, dismiss their arguments for your own personal resolve. There's a piece of me that wonders if you're trying to convince them otherwise, which is theoretically, debatably impossible. But right off the bat, I can see, they didn't ask you why, did they? Didn't ask you, why do you think that? You say, knee-jerk, NPC, totally NPC programmed reaction. Accused me of being sexist, that I was being judgmental and not fair to women who happen to be pretty. Of course, most of these people were girls. Of course they were. I tried to explain that the guy who did the hot crazy matrix didn't do that out of thin air, and that there are the occasional few women that don't let beauty affect them, but they were having none of it, of course. So, I mean, were they, let me guess as well, they were probably emotionally pissed off. This was the point in the party where things were not as fun as they used to be, because I remember going to parties in my 20s, and when I brought up things like the budget or facts or logic or reason, I was Buzz Killington, which is maybe more of a millennial reference than a Gen Z reference now. Some of my friends, though, also listened to you, so we agreed to let you be the final judge. We have the price of your consultation as a bet with the losers having to pay it. Were any of the women involved in that? I'd be very, very impressed. Name your price, Matt. P.S. One of our friends read Worthless and still chose philosophy as a degree. Can you bust his balls? His name is Connor and needs to be shamed. Well, let's pull this off. Hang on, I got it here somewhere. This is a good one. Let's put a smile on my face. Feeling what disco too. Did I lose it? Oh, here it is. All right, here you go, Connor. You read this book, Connor. Yes, Connor. You read this book, and you're a philosophy major. Like, ooh, truth, right? What is reality? Well, here's some data. Ooh. Let me guess. Hang on, I got Matt and the guys. To give you more ball-busting ammo, did Connor ever say, my interpretation of reality is my own truth? Because that's what every dipshit philosophy major ever said. I don't know, dude. What do you want me to say? Like, look, if he read this book, and if he's your friend, I'm going to assume that deep down inside, he knows his degree is shit. He's just lazy. And so, when he knows the truth deep down inside, this is more philosophical than any of his professors are ever going to get, by the way. There's nothing you can do. Let him, look, you already did it, right? Stoicism, we're going to practice Stoicism now, another philosophical sub-study. Why don't you guys just let Connor be and let him major in stupid shit and go into poverty and then beg and plead to be bailed out by you guys who are engineers and programmers who actually have to pay the taxes to bail him out. And they'll go get his master's degree and go, oh, I don't find a degree. I'm going to go teach. Is that what you're going to do, Connor? Why don't you thank and shake the hands of every man now, and woman there, by the way, who's majoring in something real, for bailing you out of your student loans. Sorry, old Captain's sick. Anyway, that's enough of busting Connor's ball. He'll either he'll either be truthful and honest with himself, or he won't. That's not in our control. That's up to Connor. All right. I did want to take some notes about this. Is like beauty and intelligence mutually exclusive? So, all right. First couple things. One, you're in college, and none of you idiots know anything. I don't necessarily mean the people that I agree with. Well, first of all, yes, beauty does corrupt intelligence. Absolutely. Absolutely. It corrupts the individual. Yes. So you're right in that regard. I'm going to explain why later. But on a more philosophical level, you guys, look, I know you wanted to have your little college. Oh, when I was in college, it was rare, but because I didn't have that much time. You thought you solved all the world's problems, and you don't, because none of you have worked a real job or supported yourself just yet. Maybe some of you are, and you're at that point, and you're poor, and I sympathize with you. But especially the people who disagree with you, not because they disagreed with you, but because it's a sign of intellectual dishonesty and a lack of intellectual courage to admit that things we don't like are true. You know, cancer exists. Guys don't like fat chicks. I don't know what else is unpopular truths. You have to major in hard shit, Connor. But in any case, college kids, you don't know anything. And I'd also say it's worse than that. You've been brainwashed. I don't know what grade you guys are in or what year you guys are in. But you guys are not taught critical thinking, let alone courageous thinking. You're taught to just go with your feels and your emotions and rationalize what you want to believe. And that's evidence why you're immediately called a sexist. You don't hate women. You're not bigoted against women. You're probably observing some empirical data that happened in the real world. Like, God, a lot of the good-looking gals I've dated or ran into, they don't show up on time. They're a pain in the ass, and they're dumber than shit. And your eyes are not deceiving you, which is what I'll explain later. Number two, the people who disagreed with you, which are predominantly women, but there seem to be some men in there, I'm going to, especially with the women, I'm going to say they haven't dated any women. Unless they are very proactive and bi or lesbian, they have not dated any women, so they don't know, right? Now, there's also Team Girl, which is another phenomenon where they will protect the hive. Women will go and rally and protect a girl. Even she could be a drop-dead gorgeous model and be dumber than... I mean, she could be a USA Beauty contestant pageant. I don't know, was France a country? You know, that gal. And they will go rally to her defense because of Team Vagina. You will see this happening in there. But the larger point, in you actually dating women and women not dating women, men have infinitely more amount of experience with dating women. I'm assuming that's the capacity you've interacted with women than women have. So women, being women, they, oh my God, yeah, but you've never dated women. And trust you me, I have gone out. I'll get to this later. I have gone out with very good... I have a lot more empirical data than all of you, including the guys who happen to disagree with you. I'm going to bet those guys haven't dated enough women. I'm surprised, frankly, that you're at this level being in college where you're like, hey, I ran into enough women, and yeah, beauty does corrupt. Beauty corrupts and it makes them dumb. So neither the girls that are disagreeing with you have dated women, unless particularly adventuresome. And the boys who disagree with you, I'm also going to claim, you know what, they could also be, not really white knighting, but they could just be doing what's polite, what they've been programmed to do. But I'm going to bet it's because they haven't dated enough. Because I certainly hadn't dated enough in college to put this together. I didn't realize it until I was about 27, that's what it was, 27, I remember it. And then three, as I mentioned before, yes, beauty corrupts nearly all women. And as you mentioned in your letter there before, there is the rare occasion. There has been the rare occasion where I've known drop-dead gorgeous women, and they didn't let their beauty get to them. And I can't mention their names, but it was when I was younger, obviously, because it wasn't when I was older. They were drop-dead gorgeous girls, but they were nice. They didn't let it go to their head. I think they had a father around that instilled humbleness and humility and really punished arrogance And these girls were nice. They weren't too good to talk to you. One of them was even a friend of mine. She was very nice. Oh, she was gorgeous. I dared it. I just like, no. Because I was like, there's no way I'm going to go with it. No way. So I think we had this nice rapport where she knew I was safe and I wasn't going to hit on her because I'm like, well, yeah, if I was you, I would go with me. She was cute. She was a real good-looking gal. But empirically, which is what I have a lot more experience than you guys do, and if you don't believe me, you could tell the people that if you're all watching, I have dated over 300 women. That is not bullshit. That is true. I have derived a lot of data, a lot of wisdom, a lot of information from that. And I was very aggressive, very active in my youth, in my dating days. And I could tell you without a doubt, the hotter they are, the dumber they are, the bitchier they are, the meaner they are, the less reliable they are. Even more recently, I mean, if you've been watching into the show, you guys know what a pain in the ass it's been for me to find a reliable model to simply model my books. I'm willing to pay money. And I've had it where girls are like, oh yeah, I'll do it. And I'm like, okay, send me some pictures. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I'll send you the books. I've sent out probably not a dozen, but 9 or 10 books now to different women. Take a picture, send me the pictures, I'll send you the money. Nope. They flake. They flake. And it is, I'd have to say, if there's any of you statisticians out there, the correlation coefficient is like 0.93, 0.95. It's practically a straight line. That the hotter you are, the less reliable you are. Not only the hotter you are, the dumber you are. Now this is interesting. Who was it? Was it Rian Stone? Somebody on Twitter. Someone had made something similar that had made the comment that the hotter the women are, the dumber they are. But then the guy says, well, it could be that their beauty shields them from reality. It shields them from ever having to work the brain to be responsible. And I conceded at that point. I said, yes, you're right. They may have a raw intelligence. Like, they're capable. Their brain is perfectly capable of, say, an IQ of 130. But their beauty renders it. They never have to tap that resource. And they're effectively operating an IQ of 80, 85. Philosophically, once again, Connor, it doesn't matter what you're capable or your theoretical or your raw intelligence is, or what you're capable of being in terms of responsible and not flaking and a reliable. It's simple adult behavior. It's what do you effectively put out into the real world. And beautiful women, what they put into the real world is their beauty. That's it. And men and women will bend over backwards to accommodate them in terms of perfectly unacceptable behavior. Being late, flaking, failing to show, taking your money and not doing what they said they were going to do, lower performance, being dumb as hell. I don't know if you guys tune into the Dick Show, but he does this thing called the war date test, and he'll have all these cute babes on, and he says, go ask your girlfriend, go ask a girl, and ask them, when was the Revolutionary War? The Civil War, you can't do the War of 1812 because that's a little too obvious. The Civil War, World War II, World War I, World War II, Vietnam. And I think maybe even throws Korea in there. Not one of these gals have gotten it yet. Not one. Because they've never had to. They've gotten by on their looks. It's kind of like if you were to take steroids away from a guy who uses it and he's a bodybuilder, how much could he work out? What's his raw physical working capacity? It's almost the opposite, I guess. But yes, beauty in this sense becomes a huge handicap for women because they're not forced to hone or sharpen their other skills, their intelligence, their professionalism. I would say even sometimes their femininity. Now they will dress feminine, they know, and see there's a bit of hypocrisy here, where if there's a very beautiful girl, they all know to doll up and wear this and wear that. It's like a buddy of mine, he come back from the Bakken oil field, to show you it's not just women who are hypocritical. He came back from the Bakken oil field. This guy didn't know how to use computers. He's younger than me. I'm like, because he was trying to find a job. So I said, well, go on the internet, go to Indeed.com or Monster.com. So he goes there, And he's telling me, well, I can't find a job. This one's in Dallas. This one's in L.A. He lived in Minneapolis. None of them are in Minneapolis. I looked at what his search settings are. And he has it set for the United States. I'm like, dumbass, type in a zip code nearby here. Oh, so he types in the zip code. And then he's got getting all these other jobs. Well, I can't do that job. I can't do that job. I can't do this job. I say, and I look at his settings like, dumbass, you didn't even select a field. You're just taking all the jobs. Well, I'm not doing it. So he gave up on that. He luckily found a job through a network. But this guy was hopeless with computers, hopeless, until he came to online dating and getting some pussy. That son of a bitch learned Tinder like that. He mastered that in half a second. And it's incentive. Like, he was capable of finding a job. He just didn't want to. These beautiful women are capable, so most of them are. I would say we probably find a normal Bell distribution curve with raw intelligence if they were forced to be tested on it. And that intelligence is displayed because they know that they should look beautiful, so they gussy themselves out. So they show a capacity for intelligence in that regard, but that's it. They don't show it at work. They don't show it in showing up on time or reliably at work. They flake. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it corrupts women. So I would say, and based on the numbers, based on my experience, except for these two exceptions, I mean, really, correlation of 0.93 to 0.95, I'd estimate. It is mutually exclusive. It's where I agree with Donovan Sharp. You never date a 9 or a 10. I mean, okay, go and date, but have no expectations. Always have a plan B. But you're not going to marry them. You're not going to date them seriously. Beauty does make women. I don't know about men. I don't know, men if really beautiful, if we're handsome or something we get by. I'm sure there's some benefits there. Playing life on easy mode. But beauty and responsibility, intelligence, etc., I would say are mutually exclusive. They are. Because beauty makes it so you don't need it. You don't have to. And if you don't need it, why would you expend the calories of energy crafting it or honing it or sharpening it? And I would also say beauty does corrupt, although I would say power corrupts or money corrupts over time. And you see that happen to everybody, men or women. But yeah, absolutely. Beauty does corrupt women, and it makes them only pretty on the outside. It's not that they're evil on the inside. They're just completely unreliable. You cannot interact with them on any capacity. I know usually it's romantic. You've liked it. And this will happen to you boys. This will happen to you. You'll find a gal. She'll like you. She'll legitimately like you. All right? There'll be no doubt of it. She'll like you. And she's hot. Like, she's 1 or 2 above you on the scale 1 to 10. And you'll be like, wow, this is great. And you'll get excited. You'll get Marco Capmeister's where, oh, you think you'll be in love. You'll be in love. Marriage. And you'll get excited. You'll even invest emotions. But don't worry, life will kick that out of you soon enough. And then she'll just up and leave. She'll ghost. She won't be around. She won't return your texts. Or in our days, it was calls. With rotary phones. And then you'll feel sad. And you're like, what happened? And then all of a sudden, she'll do the switch. Well, stop stalking me. You're being creepy. Like, we wait out. Things were going great. What happened? And, I just got to find myself in there. And look, if you say, she found another guy. She found a hotter guy. Right? They're not going to be responsible. They will not be reliable. They will always be looking for better looking guys too, by the way. But not only in romantic, but in professional, in just even played socializing, not romantic, like, hey, we're all meeting here at 7 so we can all carpool and get out of town before rush hour happens. They'll be there at 8:05. All right? And then the 7 or 8 guys in your group that want to bang her will all vote, oh, it's all right that Amy comes. Oh, it's all right, Amy, because I think I stand a chance. And then she won't learn. You guys will wait for her. You'll forget. There was another. Oh, God, it's interesting. I had a client, assholeconsulting.com, by the way. He was an older guy. And he was at a bar. He was supposed to meet a gal at 7, or whatever the time was. But then he also saw a buddy of his there. So he figured he'd hang out with his buddy and wait for the gal to show up. Well, him and his buddy are having a good old time. And all of a sudden the gal's like 5 minutes late, then 10 minutes late, then 15 minutes late. And he decided to just stay there and see. Well, he thought she was flaking out. But he wasn't going to text. He wasn't going to do it. He was just going to see if she would show up. So he's hanging out with his buddy. They're about to leave. They've been there 2 hours. She shows up then and has the balls to start ordering something from the menu. That's what beauty will do. Because every guy let that girl get to that point. And I think that guy did not. And then this will happen. This is from you boys again. Just ask Chad Elkins about this one. There have been 2 gals. What will happen to you? Where you'll be a little bit older, you'll have a little bit. You'll get older. You'll be wiser. You won't be, Connor. And you're going to start having standards. You'll also have a career and shit going on where, like, I don't have time to be stood up. And you'll be dating a gal, not seriously, or maybe seriously, but she'll pull off some bullshit, and you'll be like, that's it, you're out of here, and you'll dump her ass. And you'll be the first person to dump her because every other guy tolerated her shit because she was hot. And that's when your tires start getting slashed, and passages of the Bible ripped out of the Bible with highlighted or put underneath your windshield wiper, even though you're not Christian. That was a weird one. Things start happening like cars being keyed. A lot of cars. Nobody puts baby in the corner because you're the first guy to dump her, and they don't know how to react. They don't know how. One gal punched me. I forgot about that one. One gal punched me because no guy had ever broken up with. This guy was 30. I'm like, how is the guy never? Because the guys tolerate. And this is I guess maybe the main lesson to learn from this. It's not the women's fault. This is environmental conditioning, I would say. It's guys' fault. You guys let them get away with it. You forgive it. Girls also let these women get away with it because they want to be friends with the hot chick. You've seen that? Like how there's most of the solar systems in the world are binary. They're 2 suns rotating around each other. I don't know if you knew that or not. A little bit of astronomy there for you kids. And there's usually the hot chick and the fat ugly chick. They're like a binary solar system, star system. The ugly chick will always tolerate the misbehavings of the hot chick because she gets the crumbs off the table. She gets to be near hot. They get to go to hot clubs, nice clubs. You see that commonly in nature. You could do a National Geographic special. You will. You'll see it. You'll see it. But yeah, a lot of your disagreement comes with 1, your indoctrination and the brainwashing people have gotten. 2, emotions. No one's being impassionate. No one's being logical. No one's being Vulcan. And 3, pretty much all of you. Like I said, I'm kind of surprised you're at this epiphany already. Most of you haven't dated enough to find this out for yourself. I mean, a lot of you girls are also going to go out because I've never dated guys, so I don't know. I'm just speculating. You're going to go out and you're going to date the bad boys, and you're going to fall in love too, and then he's going to leave you, and you're going to be I can't even begin to claim to understand because I've never dated guys. So at least I'm intellectually honest in that capacity. But yes, Matt. And to all of you on Team Matt, I judge in favor of your team. And I'm not doing it because that's the way I want to go or because, that's how I am. It's because it's true. It's absolutely true. Beauty and intelligence or adult behavior or responsibility, whatever, they are mutually exclusive. They are mutually exclusive. You get a rich kid, male or female, and we've been hammering on the women here today. Let's hammer on the men. You give some rich, look at Mark Dayton. Look at Dean Phillips. Look up those guys. Look at Nancy Pelosi. Look at all these assholes that have all the money in the world. They're assholes. They're dipshits. They're morons. Look at their resumes. They've never done anything in their lives. Money will corrupt as well. You just become lazy goat and no good, worthless people. But yeah, that is true. And then for those gals who happen to be beautiful, me and my buddies have talked about this. If you are a beautiful woman and you can just show the fuck up on time and you have a degree like programming or STEM, the world is your oyster. The world is your. You will make millions. You show up on time, you hone your intelligence, you major in a hard discipline that's in demand, and you maintain your beauty, you're set. You can walk into life and pick whatever you want. You can get the nicest, richest, most stable, wonderful husband. You could get the greatest job. You will have the world bowing down. And unfortunately, beautiful women, even though they have the capacity to do otherwise, as indicated with how precise they are with their beauty and their makeup and their fashion, the majority of women call it quits on easy mode. Beautiful women. They thought, well, I'm getting everything now. I don't have to do anything. It's like, yeah, that ends at about 45, 50. That ends. And then hopefully you saved your money. You know, to be very literal, although this might be a bit too crass, there's two types of strippers. The one that snort their money up their nose, and there's the ones who buy rental property and retire at 35. And that's the route I'm trying to recommend. You guys may have heard, you know, the stripper, she uses the money to go to college. That's the way to do it. Except not Connor. Make sure when you go and major in something, ladies, that it's not a worthless degree. So women can do that, but unfortunately, it's like, oh, the money's coming in. I just go on the internet and show my tits and there's money. Oh my God, I'm amazing. It's like, no, you're not. You're just a hot chick. That's it. And boys, final bit of advice before the old Capmeister goes. Do not waste your time with super hot chicks. If they're treating you nice and wonderful, okay, yeah, but it's going to be like the two I knew. That's it. All right? The rest of them, they're going to string you along. Because every guy's going to snag that girl 2 points ahead of him or above him. It is not worth the person. It's like, simple question. Would I tolerate this behavior from Connor? And if the answer is no, dump the bitch. All right? Because it's not going, you're not going to get her. You're not. You're just not. You'll know you're an old wise man that when you see a really hot chick, you're like, whoa, stay away. And I'm not joking. You date enough, you'll be like, stay away from that one. Like, if I were ever to be single again, I would never ask out 10s or 9s. Never. Never. Because I don't have that much life expectancy left. And I need my time to count. I need my seconds to count. So you go after the 6s to 8s. That's what you do. But yeah, to save yourself a lot of stress and agony, because you're buying, oh my God, she's so hot and pretty, I love her. You're like, no, you can avoid all that. Listen to the old wise Capmeister over here. All right, that's it. Good question. I mean, I appreciate good questions. If you got a question, Cappy's got answers over at assholeconsulting.com, where I, the world's only professional asshole, and America's older brother, will give you the swift kick in the ass you need, as long as you pay the money. You can also check out my brother site, olderbrother.com, where I have a slightly less cursing, angry type of podcast, YouTube website thing. All right, Cappy's losing his voice. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.